Everybody has baits and brands that they have confidence in, including soft jerk baits. But each soft jerk bait is different and they shine in different situations. Some fall fast, some fall slow, some have a wide glide, and some have a tight twitch. And if you're not using the right one in the right situation, you're leaving bass behind. Just like when we talked about the Cincos and the stick baits, even the flukes have a little different design, and each one can shine in different situations. Hey, BassGeek here, and I'm going to talk to you about the differences between the different soft plastic jerk baits that I love to throw. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll share a link with you where we talk about why each stick bait is different and where their best uses are. Now, we all know that soft jerk baits can come in an array of different sizes, like this 7-inch Armor Shad from Diki. I have a video on this too, and it's pretty interesting. Or this, a 3-inch little minnow bait from Ramsy Baits. But what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be narrowed in to your traditional fluke or soft plastic jerk bait rig, which is a 4 to 5 inch, and we're either going to rig it Texas rig or exposed hook, a lot of times with a 4 to 5 aught worm hook. I'm not as big as a fan when it comes to the EWG on these, but you can use them. And sometimes, because I live around a lot of clear highland reservoirs, I'll actually use some belly weighted hooks to get it down there a little bit deeper so that I can get a few more bites in this ultra clear water that I fish. And of course, most of these baits come in an array of different colors too. Each company makes a ton of different colors, so you'll be able to find pretty much any color that you desire, that you want, from about any company, because these baits are extremely popular. For example, we've got 2 different colors. This is kind of my go-to color when it comes to a fluke. This is Smoke Shad, and this, of course, is Baby Bass. So what are the differences? I mean, besides, the obvious differences, say, with a fluke. The fluke, it's got a split tail, and you'll notice I call it kind of the broke back. It's got this little hump where the tail kind of goes down right there. One of the good reasons why it has that little break down is because you can get this bait to dive on you. If you'll also notice, its head points down, so it's kind of a U shape. Now, the other thing, the fluke has pretty good hookup ratio because it's got a good deep hook slot in the belly. And of course, you'll notice the belly on most of them are pretty pronounced, but on this one, the back is very flat and wide. Now, the great thing about a fluke is it does a lot of different things. Now, even though this says the salty Zoom Super Fluke, it actually floats. There's not a lot of salt. And again, you can do the rub test and see there's not a lot of salt, if any, that comes out of these baits. Now, I have to say, this is one of my very favorites, and a lot of it has to do with this color. This is a Ghost Shad by Strike King. This is the Caffeine Shad, and this is the 4-inch. I've got both the 4-inch and the 5-inch. I like both of them. It depends on where I'm at and what size bait fish when I'm picking one of those 2 sizes. Now, the reason why I like it so much, because in the clear water, it's got an incredible color to it. And this is, believe it or not, you would believe how great this color is in clear water and how few companies actually make this color in a bait. But the other thing is there's actually salt and sand in this bait also. And I rub this side, you can really start to see some of the salt and some of the sand come out. What that does is cause this bait to have a faster sink rate. So even though the fluke floats, this bait will sink. Now, a couple of differences in these that you'll notice right away is how soft this bait is. Just like a Cinco, anytime you put salt and sand in, this bait is going to be a lot less durable, a lot softer, but it's going to be heavier. It's going to have a little more action on the fall. These are going to be a little more durable because they don't have a lot of salt in them. They're more salt on them. Now, the other difference is, you can tell this has kind of a bulbous tail on it. I don't know really how else to say that, but a lot of the other things are the same. We've got a little shallower hook pocket, and we've got a nose that does tilt downward, which will help keep it below. There's ways to rig to get them to pop and skip across the top, but this is a bait that I wouldn't recommend trying to skip across the top unless you want to work it extremely fast. The Fluke, on the other hand, is great at that. Now, this tail has a lot of action because you can see it narrows right here, and it actually gets flat after it comes out of the hook slot. So this tail has got a ton of action in the water. But what this tail does, because it's so soft, is make this bait have a tighter twitch to it. So it really twitches side to side. It doesn't have a big wide walk. The Fluke, on the other hand, if you rig it correctly, you can get a good wide side to side twitch action out of this. Another one of my favorites, and you guys have seen me talk about these a couple of times, these are the XZone Whiplash Shad. Now, you'll notice a big difference in these. This is a 6-inch version, and I know we said we were going to talk about like the 4 and 5, but this really is a 5-inch body, but it's got that Whiplash tail. So it's just got a longer, more pronounced tail. You'll see a lot of the same characteristics. It's got that flat body. It's got a smaller head. Now, what I like about this head is that it's got 2 tapers, one on the throat and one on the top of the head. That means if you rig this right, you can get it to rise and skip across the top, or you can get it to dive down and get a little bit deeper. It's got the same hook slot. Now, this one is a little bit deeper too, so you're going to get some good hookups on these. But this tail comes out, it's very flat on the top and starts out rounded, but flattens out as we get to the back. Now, this one is heavily salt. I don't know if there's any sand in here. I'm going to guess because of that color, there may be a little bit, because it does sink pretty well. So this is another one, if I'm fishing deeper structure, this is what I'm going to do. But remember, it also means it's not going to be as durable as the ones without any salt. Now, this has a very S sort of waver action, almost like a glide bait action. So it's not a tight twitch or a tight side-to-side action. It's a very sort of wide S action. This color is the Pro Blue Red Pearl color. Now, here's the Diki Armor Shad. This is the 5-inch. It's 5 inches, but it's a little more of a compact. It's got the split tail. It's got some ribs in it. You know, got one of the deepest hook slots, but it's got a nose that's turned up slightly. Now, this bait has no salt in it whatsoever. Floats very well. This is a great bait to use to skitter across the top of the water. It's got a nice tight walking action. It's got a more medium sort of twitch. It's not a really wide twitch, but it's not a really tight twitch. So it's kind of in that middle ground. It's a good little bait. Listen, I catch a lot on this bait on a jig head minnow, or using it as a jig head minnow during the summertime, to be honest with you. Kind of one of my favorite ways to use it. The ribs on it actually keep it from getting that big wide. It creates a little bit of water resistance, but it also creates a little bit of, I don't want to call it vibration, I don't know what the right word is, but a little more water displacement or movement when you are twitching it. Like I said, this is probably one of my favorite baits to rig up, to really work it hard and fast and really get it to skip across the top of the water. And by the way, this is a Pro Blue. This is one of my favorite colors. Now, this one is by Ramsy Baits, and it's very much like a Fluke, but I got him to make me some in that Ghost Shad color. What I like about this is he put a ton of salt and sand in this. So it probably is one of the faster sinking baits, which means I'm going to be able to use this in a little bit deeper water, the ends of some laydowns. But it also means it's not going to be that durable because of all the salt and sand that's in it. Now this is made very much, and you can see how soft that tail is, like a fluke. You've got the head that kind of tips down and narrows, and the tail that kind of tips down and forks at the end. Now I think the forks are a little different. They don't come as far out, but of course you also have the hook slot and a deeper belly, a lot again like the fluke. Now one of the things that I like to use this for is actually open water bass. When they're out there a little bit deeper, when they're out there on the ledges, you put a belly weight in this bad boy and it's going to get down to some very good depths. And then what I do is I twitch it up so that it looks like a fleeing bait fish or one that's struggling to live. Do that a whole lot with this and the Caffeine Shad both. Next up is probably one of the more durable ones. This one really has no salt in it whatsoever, and you can feel it's a little stiff, it's a little tough, but there's a place for this too. And the place for me is skipping across the top of the water, putting it on something like a shaky head, any of those types of things where you're going to really put these baits in the thick of it. A lot of cover, a lot of structure. These are really great over grass because it's called the Breaking Shad by Yum, and this is pearl white, and I can tell you there's not a drop of salt or sand in this bait. And you can see this bait is a little more compact, you know, still got a nice soft tail, got the forked tail. It's a little thinner than a lot of your other baits. It's a little more narrow, the belly, than a lot of the other baits that I showed you. The nose, very round, very straight, no real drop right there. And the reason why that is it's really designed to be worked over shallow, submergent grass so that it's popping across the top, really working it slow. It's got an incredible wide twitching action. And that's kind of another thing. If they don't have a lot of salt in them, they're not weighted, they're going to have a lot wider twitch action when you hit it and give it a little bit of line. But it's going to make them a little more durable when they don't have salt, and a lot more buoyant. Now, of course, geeks, you can use a spinning combo, and a lot of times I do in the open water. Generally, I'm going to want a little heavier, so like a medium heavy, something fast out there. But I really prefer to use this combo right here. This is a Fitzgerald. This is one of my 2 hard jerkbait rods. This is for the lighter jerkbait so that I can cast them a little bit farther. And it also works on these little puppies right here because it is a 7-foot medium moderate action. So it's got a nice soft tip, but it's still got enough backbone so that when they come up and hit it, and we'll talk about the rigging a little bit later, we can take this heavy wire hook, which I like to use, and drive that sucker home. Now this is a Versa rod, and I've had this rod for years. I mean, I have had this rod for years. It's got the microwave guide on it. It does help cast out a little bit. And I've got that coupled with the Lose, and you can see this. You can tell how long I've had it. It's got a lot of boat rash on it. Wore out the handles here. I use it a lot. This is a 6/8-1, which any sort of twitch or, you know, walking bait, I love that reel speed from Lose. It's just right. You're not going to overpower it like you would with a 7. It's not going to be too slow like a lower 6s, 5-3, something like that. This reel, the Custom Pro, also casts light baits extremely well, and they did upgrade it. I'll put links to everything in the description so that you can pick up any of the stuff in the video from Tackle Warehouse. By the way, if you don't mind, scan this code right here and bookmark it on your phone, or bookmark the link down there in the description if you're on a computer or a PC, something like that. And that helps us out. It doesn't cost you a dime extra, but it does help the channel out when you use that link. Last but not least, of course, K9 Pro 100. This is 100% fluorocarbon. I like it because it does sink a little bit. Now they've got a fluoro that is neutrally buoyant. If you want something that's going to keep the bait up in the water a little bit more, you need to check that out. And I've got a 10% code right here. So we're going to talk about a couple different things that you can do. And geeks, again, the reason why I'm talking to you about this is because I want you to understand. I don't expect you to go out and buy every single one of these baits, but it might be good to have one bait that floats, one bait that sinks, so that you can fish different parts of the water column. You can have different flow rates. One bait with a tight twitch and one bait with a wide glide. That way you're giving the bass two different options in action. One that's more durable and is going to be able to hold up to some rigs like a shaky head, or maybe you want it to Carolina rig it and float, or put it on a wobble head and look like it's feeding on the bottom as you drag it through a lot of rock. The other, maybe you want it to be super soft and look super natural as it falls and you twitch it up in open water. So when the bass bite, they hold on a little bit better and a little bit longer. What's up, geeks? All right, let's do the May box drawing, I guess. Not undrawing. I don't know how you undraw on there. Anyway, that might be something that gets you jail time. I don't know. Anyway, all right, there's the video. Remember, you gotta say hashtag spybait to be able to win. So we are going to see how many we got. We don't want to allow duplicates. We will allow replies. All right, so 88 people. Remember, you got to watch the win. You know, we don't want a bunch of hooter-de-doo people coming around just to win a box. I don't advertise them. I do this just simply to give back to you geeks who really watch the videos consistently and support the channel consistently. That's what it's all about. Let's pick a winner. Hashtag spybait at Robert Patterson. What's going on, Robert Patterson? I must confess I do around 15 to 20 duo spybaits along with a whole bunch of other duo hard baits. Well, Robert, guess what? You got another and a few other baits coming your way. So way to go, brother. Congratulations. I know you support the channel a lot. I appreciate you. And I'll reach out and put a little comment under your comment to let you know you won. Well, geeks, we are back at the house. We're not out on the lake anymore, as you can tell. And I hope this kind of shows you, we're going to continue this series talking about the different styles of baits, their actions, how they compare. And, all I'm really trying to tell you is there may be a good bait for your situation, but there's really and truly not, in a lot of cases, a best bait. It's a best bait for the conditions and situation that you're fishing at the time. One that fits the needs or the mood of the bass. Now, here at the end, I am going to ask for a little bit of help from you. We'll talk a little bit more about it later. But apparently, because of all of the spam bots, the porn bots, and we had another hack attempt. I don't know how it happened. I don't know what was going on. We were able to stop them. They were able to get into the YouTube channel, but we were able to stop them in time and keep them from doing any damage. I didn't click on anything. Everything was cleaned up from the last time. The laptop was formatted. But we, again, need you geeks. I don't know why I'm being targeted, but we have worked so hard to overcome the last one. And we are back in YouTube jail again. Anyway, make sure you are going to check out that stick bait video, which you can check out right here Otherwise, questions and comments in the comments section below. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell so you get the notifications. Be part of the 100% Watch Squad, and we need you geeks right now. You geeks rock.